Welcome to the Ballona Lagoon Marine Preserve. Today, the lagoon makes up only 16 acres, but it was once part of a much larger wetland that extended from what is now the Venice Canals across through Marina del Rey and off into the hills further south. As you approach the wetlands, one of the first things you see are the California horned snails. There are millions of them here. And one of the more spectacular birds is the great white heron. You can recognize him by his yellow beak and black feet. It's one of the largest birds we have. With its long feet, it wades through the water looking for fish. The most common birds are, of course, the California mallard ducks. Here's a male and a female. The male's the one that's very colorful. The females are plain. They're plain so that they can blend into the background so that predators can't see them when they're taking care of the young ones. And the babies we'll see early in spring. Babies always stay close to the mother. These birds are here all year long. Another type of duck is the merganser. You can tell the merganser by the little tuft of feathers right behind the head. And the merganser is a diving duck. The mallard duck's a dabbler. It'll just dip its head under the water to feed, but this bird will go underwater and chase its food. As with the mallard, the female merganser is plain in color. Sometimes we see very rare birds here. This Brandt's goose was seen only once. It spent a whole December here in 1995. The Brandt's goose is far away from its normal migratory path. It's feeding among the mussels at low tide. There are many long-legged shorebirds all around the lagoon. Most of them have very long beaks. This is a willet, slightly turned up beak. It's feeding on mussels. Some more willets out into the water. You see why they have long legs, and you can figure out why they have long beaks. They poke way down into the sand and eat the little worms and grubs that live there. Another common bird on the Ballona Lagoon is the snowy egret. It's a little bit smaller than the great white egret. Same coloring except that the beak is black and the feet are yellow. Its feathers also are a little fluffy. That's why it's called a snowy egret. It walks slowly looking for food. Sometimes it'll shuffle its feet. It does a little dance. By shuffling its feet, it causes the little animals that live under the sand to come up. And when they come up, it grabs them and has its dinner. Now there's the dance. Another snowy with some little sanderlings by it. There are a few snowy egrets that remain all year long. During the migratory season, in the spring and the fall, you'll see more of them. Less common in the lagoon, but very common in the Marina Channel, are the pelicans. These birds were almost extinct in this area, and they were killed off because the farmers were using DDT, and as this got into the water, it caused the shells of the pelican to grow soft, and they cracked. We stopped using DDT about 30 years ago, and now the pelicans have come back. They like to fly low over the water looking for their food. The cormorant. This is a bird that loves the ocean. Very often you'll see them on the rocks near the ocean, especially on a sunny day, and they like to hang their wings out very wide so that they dry in the sun. This one is drying its wings. It'll face the sun, drying the underside of the wings. And then it'll turn to dry the back of the wings. Another great white egret. The egrets are very closely related to the herons. can see the yellow beak. They can stand almost motionless for very long times. This way the fish lose their fear of them. And when the fish swim up close, they'll strike. Well, did he get his lunch that time? Another bird that we don't see too often is the western grebe. Floating this way, it looks like he has a very short neck. And with the reflection of the water, it looks like a bird with two necks, doesn't it? Little dabbling ducks come by. These are buffleheads. Smaller than the other ducks we saw. You see many, many little sanderlings along the beach. Out on the beach, they'll run in and out with the waves. Here in the lagoon, they'll stay along the shore, especially at low tide. Almost always in large flocks. They fly around together. Somehow they all know when to turn at the same time. They rarely get their feet into the water. They're always right at the edge. And the killdeer, little black and white stripes around its neck, walks along, struts along very proudly, and it utters a little cry, killdeer, killdeer. That's how it got its name. this little killdeer wants to take a bath. First we'll test the temperature of the water and then get down into it. Okay, bath's over, let's dry off. Another one of our wading shorebirds with the long feet and straight beak. One of the most endangered birds in our lagoon, and maybe the most important one to us, is the least tern. It's called the least tern because it's the smallest one. There are only a few places left in California where these birds nest, and one of them is right here at Venice Beach. And from the beginning of spring until the end of summer, you'll see these birds flying up and down along the little lagoon looking for food for their young ones. And they're plunge divers. This bird is on the endangered species list. If this lagoon were to be closed up, these birds would have no place to feed. These birds spend the winter down in Central and South America, and in the summer they come up here. They'll be arriving in the Venice Marina del Rey area in March every year, and they leave in August. There's a fenced area over by the beach where they are protected and where they have their nests every year. As they fly along the lagoon, they're always looking down. Here you can see their markings, a black mark on the top of the head. They're always looking down for fish. When they find one, they'll plunge right in after it. And when it catches a fish, it'll fly back to its nesting area and feed the young ones. Here's another good look at the markings on the bird. And you can see it has a forked tail, just as a swallow does. A dowitcher, a very small wading bird. This one has a shorter beak. And one of our most spectacular birds of all is the great blue heron. They occasionally come into our Ballona Lagoon. More often they're seen out on the Marina Channel and in the Marina wetlands. A very large bird. Just like the great white egret, it'll stand still for a very long time waiting for the fish to come up to it. relative is the little night heron. There's a group of night herons that love to stand on the fence by Washington Boulevard near the Bird Conservancy. You can tell the night heron by that little feather sticking out from the back of the head. And back to our great blue heron. This is over in the marina wetlands. There's a cottonwood tree there that has at least 3 nests in it. And you can see 2 of the nests here. In the springtime, these birds will come to the nest. At the beginning of the spring, you can see them gathering twigs and leaves to build a nest. Here's the 3rd nest. You can see 2 birds in it. Well, this bird has been sitting on the nest all day, and it needs a little exercise. So it decides to fly around a little bit. Let's see where it goes. Just a little turn around the marina wetlands. And then back to its nest. But sometimes birds get confused, and this one lands in the wrong nest. Well, the occupiers of the nest are not too happy. Get out of here, they say. So we'll go around again and try to find the right place. Another turn around the wetlands. Back to our cottonwood tree. And this time, the right nest. Well, we hope you enjoyed your little tour of the marina wetlands, and we hope to see you out here visiting us someday. Thank you.